Hi, I'm Liv, and today I thought I would read my first ever Stephen King book. I've never read a Stephen King book before, like, can you believe that? I've read literally so many books last year and this year is when I've got into reading properly, and I've never read a Stephen King book ever. This is the book. This is 11/22/63. It's a sci-fi book. This book, we follow our main character Jake, and Jake ends up going back in time to Kennedy assassination and potentially stopping it. I don't know what's gonna happen. It's really good and I'm really enjoying it so far. I will put in a clip of where I'm up to. I did read 100 pages last night. I'm actually using my book light as my lighting right now because it's really dark in this room. I'm at page 38 and I'm really enjoying this book. I'm literally the tiniest amount in. I'm 5% in. I'm really enjoying it. It's so good. I'm starting to understand now why Stephen King's books are so beloved, because his writing is so immersive, but it's also so easy to get into. Like, this book is phenomenal, and even 20 pages in I was like, oh my god, I'm 20 pages in. That's flown by so quickly. Right now we are at the point where we have found how we are going back in time, and our main character has gone back in time for the first time, and he's experiencing things from the 50s that he never would have been able to experience. Obviously, because he's not been brought up in the 50s or anything. Language and the things around him are very much like traditional 50s stuff, not like your stereotypical stuff. I think the writing in general I think is so good, and by that I mean that I think that the way in which it's written, it's in a pacing in which it feels so quick, and there is not a dull moment. There's no moments where I'm like, oh, I just need to get through this page. I'm constantly gripped throughout this book. I'm honestly just in shock. I've not read a Stephen King book before. Like, I'm actually in shock. So immersive. Like, I don't actually have to think about anything. It's just, as soon as he describes something, it's instantly in my head. I know what he's talking about. Really immersive. As I said, I'm 100 pages in. Really enjoying it, and it's a really long book. It's 740 pages about, so I'm trying to read 100 pages a day so I can get through the whole book in the week, and I don't want to read too much at once because I don't want to like rush through it or anything. It's the next day. It's really late at night and I have not been reading loads. I've just started my next 100 pages. 118 is where I'm up to right now, and we've just had references to it. This book is set in 1958, when he goes back in time, and the town he's just got to Derry, and of course Derry is where the whole Pennywise and It story is set. It was a good little reference, and I love it when authors plug their own books. And there was references, as in one person was saying, oh, we've had cases of kids going missing here. It was said that a guy dressed up in a clown suit probably is the person who took them, and I was just like, hang on a sec, and I clocked and I was like, oh my god, we're in Derry. Oh, it's just so funny, and I really like that. It's making me laugh. But yes, I'm in a very good place. We're starting to see like some of like the problems. So the problems of our main character brought his phone to the 1950s, and obviously phones, like mobile phones, are not a thing, and so we had to get rid of it because in case anybody found it and they'd be like, what the hell is this, and you didn't want to like get in trouble or mess up like time or anything. There was a moment where he used the wrong currency because money has evolved a lot since then, and we've had a lot of different people on money since then, and he was like, oh my god, if someone actually found this coin, they'd be like, what the hell is this? And I like that we're currently now seeing like the problems and the things that we could face potentially if anything went wrong. You are most definitely due a little update. It's been a few days. I've not been keeping up to this whole like reading 100 pages a day, I'll be honest. I got really sick. My diabetes just went through the roofs. I've been so sick. I've had a constant migraine for now 2 days solid, and it's not the vibe really. It's really not the vibe. I'm just about to fake tan. If you've noticed, I'm very pale right now. I'm about to fake tan to make myself feel a bit better, get my levels back under control, change my insulin. Things are looking up. Onto the book. I have been reading the book recently. I've read a bit since then. I read today only, so I am currently at page 200 and 217, and I am enjoying it so much. Like, we've got to the part where there's like graphic scenes that have happened, and it has been, we've got like the horror-esque genre from our Stephen King. I will say, I think his writing is phenomenal. I am shocked I've never read any of his stuff before. I think that my reason for not reading Stephen King is so sad, but
I think my reasoning for not reading Stephen King was probably because I thought he was overhyped. You know, when everyone hypes up a reader, a writer, and then you read their stuff and it really does not hit the spot like you thought it was going to. I've had that before with Jessa Hastings' books, the dark romance writer, I can't remember their name, but I've had a few different books I have read over the years, and I've thought this was massively overhyped, and I'm not seeing the hype. I am so wrong. I was so off on the wrong wavelength. I am thoroughly enjoying this book. It's so gripping. I'm currently though at a place in which I'm just sat thinking, like, where is this book gonna go? Because we're only at page 217, as I said, and this book is like over 700 pages long. Definitely at a point where the pacing is okay, but I feel like it could get stagnant real quick, and I don't want it to get stagnant, if you know what I mean. I don't want us to even get to the point where that could potentially happen, because I'm really loving his writing. Just watched Bake Off as well, that was a vibe, and I'm going to a garden centre tomorrow, so I'll probably read some tomorrow.
I forgot my book on the way back to uni, so I ended up filming another video. So if you want to go check that out, it's the Spooky Reads for a Week video. I really enjoyed filming that, to be honest, and I found a book that I actually really enjoyed, so go check that video out. I'm back on to the Stephen King book, and we're currently up to quite far into the book, to be honest. I mean, I've still got like basically 300 pages still, but I'm at page 481 out of 760, I think. Really good book. I've got this little chunk at the bottom left. It's quite a big chunk, to be honest, but it's good. I kind of want to update you on everything that's happened so far, but I kind of can't remember what I updated you on last time, so I'm going to tell you my thoughts and opinions that I've had recently. So first of all, I did feel like I was getting a bit bored, so I'd say around the 350 mark I was getting a bit bored, and the reason for this is we basically get to see Jake living this different life in the past, and he becomes like a teacher and things, and he has like a love life and everything, and he has friends, and it just got to the point where I was kind of like, okay, and what's next? It was dragging a bit for about 100 pages, and it got to the point where I was actually falling asleep reading the book, because it was just, there was nothing happening of actual interest for me. That bit's over finally, and I'm very happy about it, and it kind of felt a bit unnecessary. So I feel like I get the point of it was like to show he's living a double life with a new name and everything, and it's hard for him to keep track of how it's a double life, and he does slip up from time to time, and people do look at him and think, where's this slang coming from? Because this isn't like 50s talk, like 60s talk, sorry. I do understand the point of it, but 100 pages was a long amount of pages to do that. Up to the point where we're getting very interested in Oswald's life, which is I think it's Oswald, I'm pretty sure, yeah, Oswald, which is the guy who assassinated JFK, and he's trying to obviously stop him. That's the whole premise of the book. We're getting invested in his life right now, and his marriage and everything, and kind of having a stakeout, and in a way like watching them and keeping tabs on them and knowing where they're at in the storyline that we know of so far, based off Al's diary that he gave us with like all the notes he's got over the years of what happens, that he kept track of before he got unwell. So I'm liking all this. I feel like I'm getting it. That's the main thing right now. I was really nervous about Stephen King books. I was going to feel thick and that I wasn't going to understand much that was going on. It's completely the opposite. I feel like he really over describes things so you really understand what he's saying, not in a way that's like patronizing or anything or demeaning. I feel like he really explains things thoroughly, and his writing style is very, very good, and it's very intriguing. I won't finish the book tomorrow because like 300 pages is quite a lot, and I'm busy, and I have to go back to uni tomorrow at like 5 o'clock, and I've got a meal at like 1 tomorrow as well, so I do have loads of time, and I've got to film a video, edit the video, get it up for tomorrow as well. Chaos. So I'm going to, yeah, read a bit, set myself a little goal and try and reach it. But yeah, those are all my updates. It's the next day. I look rough. I'm back in my flat, I'm reading the book, and look, I've literally got barely anything left. It is a whirlwind. I haven't been able to put this down for like over an hour. I'm so invested, so much has happened, and it's just gone in a way that I would never have guessed. I'm trying not to cry because it is really emotional right now. But yeah, I'm on page 727 and this book finishes at 7:40. I'm gonna be a wreck tonight. Okay, my makeup's held up really well, but I have been crying. I don't know if you can see. That ending was really beautiful and bittersweet and just utterly heartbreaking. And there's a beautiful romance story in this book which I was not expecting, but it happens like towards like the halfway point. It's a story that is so beautiful but with so many lows and highs in it, lows and highs all the way through. It's not like a smooth sailing love story or anything. Like, there's so many things that happen, friendships, things that get in the way. Multiple times when he's trying to like stay on track with his plan to stop Oswald from killing the president, he gets stopped so many times by things that happen in his life. I mean, one of the biggest things is that the person who he's in love with, she has a very abusive husband, and he pops up every now and then, and it's heartbreaking. And there is a lot of darker stuff that happens in here. A lot of descriptions of people getting beaten up very badly, of people getting shot, violence in this, definitely abuse. It does have some triggering topics in it. Nothing is like too crazy or out there, but I thought it was written very well. I'll probably update you properly tomorrow to finish off this video, but I honestly really enjoyed it. I don't even know what to rate it right now, so I'm gonna sit on it for a bit and tell you tomorrow. Well, I said the makeup was holding up well. I'm just sat bawling my eyes out. This book was amazing. I'm finally finishing this vlog a week later. I feel like I owe you guys like an explanation of what the hell happened. Firstly, my life just got really heavy. So what I mean by that is my diabetes has been crazy and it's been really getting me down. My course at uni has been insane and I am really down about that. There's so much that's just happening right now and it's just really affecting me emotionally, and I'm really just down about everything, and it's really hard to have like this positive, perky persona online when you're feeling terrible. I had a little break. I have missed a couple uploads. I missed out Thursday and Sunday. I don't know when this video is going up, but I didn't actually finish telling you about the Stephen King book, so I feel like I just want to sum up my thoughts and opinions right now and close this video off finally once and for all. I think I gave this book a 4.5. So yeah, I gave this book a 4.5 and I really thoroughly enjoyed it. And to be honest, if you want to know my thoughts and opinions, I think this statement will tell you everything. I am going to be looking for another Stephen King book to read this year. I really love the writing. I think the writing style was so good. Now, if you're like me, you may have thought that a Stephen King book would have been a bit complex and the writing style would have just gone over your head. I was expecting that. I was expecting to be confused and to feel thick, but his writing style is phenomenal. How do I explain it? It's done in a way that is not talking down to you as a reader, but it is explaining every little detail to you in the most detailed way possible, but without being condescending. And I think that's such a clever skill to have as a writer, to be able to explain things fully and to grip your reader so much and they understand every aspect of the book, but you're not talking down to them and they don't feel stupid, they don't feel like you're trying to speak down to them at all. And that is a skill that Stephen King definitely has. I thought this book was amazing. I will say that towards like page 300 up to page 400, it did get a little bit stagnant. There was 100 pages where I was like, what's going on? But I do think by the end of it, it made sense to why we had those 100 pages of not plot to do with the plot that we knew about, but like a side plot. So we did see a lot of our main character Jake having a new life in the 50s and being a teacher in the 50s while he was waiting his time. He was, what's the word, like biding his time or something, until the assassination of JFK, so he could stop that. And we got a little like 100 pages of him trying to be a teacher and living life for a few years until the assassination attempt happened. And the assassination happened, obviously. And we did see 100 pages of in my opinion, kind of filler, but by the end it made sense to why we got so much detail. These characters we saw him talk about and get to know and have this bond with, by the end it made sense why we saw it all, because we needed to see how close Jake had gotten with these people and how much of an impact he had in their lives and how much of an impact they had in his life. So by the end, this bittersweet, gut-wrenching feeling you got made sense because you'd spent so much time with these characters. The devastating ending was just, it meant so much more now that we knew these characters. And I feel like if we didn't have those 100 pages, I do think it wouldn't have hit as hard, so I'm happy that they were there. I did cry my eyes out at the end of the book. I was very emotionally drained afterwards, and I felt very much like I'd invested my emotions, like I'd invested myself into this story so much, so it really got me, the ending. The ending was also very brutal, and it's one of those endings that it happened and afterwards you thought about what this meant for the other characters and like how devastating it was for everybody, and it really got to me in the end, and I was really devastated, cried my eyes out, kept crying the next day about it, and Sam was like, oh my god, are you okay? But overall it was a really good book and I would highly recommend it. Definitely way better than anything I was expecting. I thought the storyline was really good, and if you're thinking about trying a Stephen King book, I would really recommend this one. It was really good. My first like sci-fi books as well. Really good, and I really enjoyed it. I thought everything was amazing and the writing style was brilliant. Even the audiobook I did listen to a little bit on Spotify was phenomenal. So yeah, that's the video. Hope you guys have enjoyed. I'll be back soon with another video. I'm getting back on track with everything. I'm filming things now, and I'll see you guys pretty soon. So thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, and do that stuff, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.